I think that you guys did a huge disservice to the listenership, and I share this with Kristen, that I felt it would have been in the best interest. You guys did Baby Mamas for 4 years, right? Mm-hmm. There were moments of time during those 4 years that you guys did not want to be in the same room and did not want to record with each other, and there was conflict and stuff going on. I personally feel like had you guys recorded the last episode together, whether that be virtually or in person, that your delivery would have come across way different, because it would have been a neutral, you guys would have gone into that conversation the same way. I would hope that in an ending of something that you would go into it very much the same way, and you guys could have had banter with each other back and forth and given the listeners what they truly deserved. And then they didn't get that. And then the tone shift from where you were and then where she was.
I'm angry by her tone. It pissed me off.
Disheartening. I know that you're pissed off by it. And I think that the tone shift from you and then to her part, and then also the silence, like the combination of all of that, I think it's making you more angry every day.
Well, it's infuriating for you to be crying about a podcast ending and then remaining silent for weeks following, when I made it explicitly clear, direct. We did a phone call. We did recording meetings. I sent an email. Like, it was very clear where all of this was coming from. And I think the more that I sit on it, the angrier I get, because more things keep getting put into play, right? I responded to a comment on social media of someone saying that I needed to end this as amicably as possible because V probably has dirt on me. I want it to be very clear that it's the other way around. I said that, and that is the truth. And all of this episode is not even speaking on the truth. Everything that I've said in this episode is the surface layer of all of the things that I'm feeling, and is the surface layer of all of the resentment, the reason why we ended. But further, I want to add, because as time goes on, I think of more things. When we first ended Baby Mamas, the first time when I found out what she did with Javi behind my back, she moved out of the office that we shared together. But when we ended it amicably and professionally, and we were like, okay, actually we could keep this going, we were still recording in person. So she was coming into the office and we would record in person at the point that I was like, okay, but if we're recording in person, that is a Baby Mama's venture. That is Baby Mama's time using my office. And we have a whole entire room that can only ever be used for Baby Mamas. She refused to pay any portion of that. And to me, that also is a smack in the face. So that also adds to the layers of resentment, was like, you're benefiting in all of these ways. Your social media has grown 200, 300,000 followers. You are not paying a dime towards the office. And yeah, I understand you moved out of it from your personal businesses, but Baby Mamas is still being recorded there, right? Like, the room cannot be used for anything else.
Listen, I will say here that I 1,000% agree with Kail that was giving like a user, and it's really unfair to refuse to pay even like a portion. Even you can say, okay, well, I moved my businesses out and I'm only using for Baby Mamas, so I'm not going to pay half, but I'll pay a quarter. Offer to pay something. And this is the first story she talks about V being tight with money and not paying her own way. There's going to be another story. So I do think that there's something to it there when it comes to V and money. And I find it strange because she's making a lot of money from Baby Mama's No Drama, right? Her husband's making a lot of money investing in real estate and is a real estate agent. So what's going on? Why would she be so tight about things that are business expenses, in a business that is profitable? And on top of that, here's my thing. If this is something that you guys are doing for your business, why do either of you have to foot it? Do you not have a business card, like a business credit card? The business pays for it, right? Wouldn't the business, and then you just go ahead and you write that off as an expensive business? That's one part that I'm not really understanding, but I digress.
So what's so interesting about the financial aspect of y'all's business? We could have similar businesses, but the way that we have ran the businesses differently is just so crazy, because you and I don't have that dynamic. If there is something that needs to be spent, just like, okay,
we just split it right down the middle.
Yeah.
But that wasn't the dynamic for Baby Mamas.
I just think with the situation, with the financial aspect of the business, right? You had already been doing podcasting for years before Baby Mamas came along. And there were already expectations that were kind of set in your mind. So I think that you probably went into that business thinking that it was going to similarly be ran.
Mhm.
And we've had so many conversations where Kail wants certain things. And I'm like, I don't really care about them, but I don't mind sharing the expense if it makes my business partner happy. And you've done the same for me.
100%.
And so you probably wouldn't have cared as much about the financial stuff had you not had something to base it off of.
I don't share the same views for you because it's just a very different dynamic, and we started together and we kind of like created the whole like foundation. But it's really upsetting because I look at all the layers of it, and I don't know. I have a hard time with it. And so then, when it felt like you're getting 50% of a business, I'm paying for X, Y, and Z. I come with the following. I exploit my life. There's so many layers to it. And I don't know. I don't know that I'll get over it for a really long time.
What's also crazy that I don't think anybody would know about is that Kail and I really have no agreements outside of said agreements with each other.
Yeah, we don't have a co-host agreement. We don't have, and that's also something that I wanted to talk about. I wanted to touch on that was V not speaking out when she sees all the hate that I'm getting, knowing that she fully and willingly signed everything over to me with no questions asked. Like, you're not even saying that out loud. Like, you're not even going on your platforms and saying anything. Like, this, you're speaking more volumes to everything that I have felt, and you're actually validating exactly how I feel about you as a person towards me by not saying anything. And you're not, people are reading between the lines, and I think that they're never going to be able to. And so this is probably going to be the last time I ever speak on it, because I can't convince people to see what I see and what we see and I don't expect you to hate her, but like at the end of the day, like, you did see things and you were privy to information.
I also think.
So I will say again, that is something that I would be upset about as well. If V agreed for Kail to go ahead and own the business moving forward at this point, then and she's seeing, but here's the thing, only if she is seeing all these people attacking Kail and everything like that, the right thing to do would be to speak out and say, hey, no, she did not blindside me. This is something I agreed to. Like, now that is blah, blah, blah. And then remind people this is a perfect opportunity to promote the new podcast that she's going to be launching with her sister. You know what I mean? But here's the thing. I believe that V, correct me if I'm wrong, because I don't really follow her like that. I don't really look at Instagram like that. But she said that she's taking a social media hiatus. So I imagine that she is taking a solid break. Hang on, why don't I pull up my Instagram? I imagine she's taking a solid break. And if that's the case, then why should she have to come out of her break, disturb her peace for any of this nonsense? You know what I mean? So I am now pulling up oh no, she is here on Instagram. Let's see. She posted, to the woman who's walked through fire, you've been to places most people wouldn't dare go. You've faced the kind of storms that couldn't break anyone, yet here you are, surviving, thriving, transforming every ounce of pain into strength. You have this rare, unshakable result. Okay, yeah, a motivational speech for herself. She's listening to a song by Rao Alejandro, Bad Bunny, and Cosa Nuestra called Que Pasaría, which I guess, what will happen. The way I'm so effing obsessed, I can't even, been waiting for this SHIT. And then she is posting about full moon rituals. So she is on social media, but she's not setting the record straight. That's a choice for sure. But listen, at the end of the day, I'd be upset. V has the right to her silence, but Kail has a right to be upset about that too.